What if ancient Egypt was never a religion in the way we think of religion today, but a map, a carefully drawn blueprint of the human soul? Imagine for a moment stepping beyond the images of golden masks, towering pyramids, and dusty tombs into a secret world that most historians only touch on lightly. The Egyptians didn't just build temples out of stone. They believed those temples were alive, pulsing with the same cosmic order that moves the stars above. They didn't worship distant gods seated on high, but saw them as living archetypes within, forces of creativity, wisdom, and transformation hidden in the human psyche. Their sacred texts weren't written to record history, but to transmit vibration, codes of power designed to reshape reality itself. And every ritual, every symbol, every myth was part of a spiritual science, a roadmap meant to guide a soul through life, death, and rebirth. In this video, we will journey together through 7 spiritual secrets of Egypt, secrets that reveal not only how they viewed the cosmos, but how you can apply their wisdom for personal transformation, self-knowledge, and awakening. This is not about worshiping the past, it's about unlocking a hidden dimension of yourself that has been waiting all along. The first spiritual secret of Egypt is hidden in the principle of Maat. To the Egyptians, Maat wasn't just a goddess with wings and a feather on her head. She was the living embodiment of cosmic balance, truth, and harmony. Every sunrise, every heartbeat, every breath was believed to follow her law. In their mythology, when a person died, their heart was weighed against the feather of Maat. If the heart was heavy with lies, greed, or chaos, the soul could not ascend. But if it was light, aligned with truth, the soul moved freely into the next life. This was not only about death, it was a teaching for daily life. To live in Maat meant to walk in honesty, to honor balance between body, mind, and spirit, and to keep one's actions aligned with higher order. Modern psychology calls it living with integrity. Physics calls it resonance. The Egyptians knew it thousands of years ago. The universe itself responds when you are in harmony. Living out of balance creates disorder. But living in Maat opens a hidden flow of energy, guiding you toward clarity, peace, and transformation. This was the foundation of all Egyptian spirituality, the reminder that the greatest temple you will ever enter is the harmony within your own soul. The second hidden secret of Egypt lies in the practice of mummification, a ritual far beyond the preservation of flesh. To the Egyptians, the body was not just a shell, it was a sacred temple, a vessel for the soul's eternal journey. When they wrapped the body in layers of linen, they were symbolically preserving the temple so the spirit could navigate the realms beyond death. Every organ was treated with reverence, the heart left in place as the throne of consciousness, the brain removed to signify that true wisdom was not of the intellect, but of the spirit. Today, science tells us that the body radiates an electromagnetic field, and modern spiritual traditions echo the same truth. How you treat your body directly affects your mind and soul. The Egyptians anticipated this thousands of years ago. To them, caring for the body was an act of devotion, preparing both flesh and spirit for transformation. The teaching is simple yet powerful. Your body is not a prison, but a sacred instrument. Feed it with balance, move it with intention, and rest it with respect, because in honoring your body, you honor your soul. And this belief extended even further, shaping how they designed their temples. The third spiritual secret of Egypt reveals itself in the very stones of their temples. To the Egyptians, a temple was not just a building, it was a living body. Every wall, every column, every chamber was designed as an anatomical reflection of the human form. The great hypostyle halls with their towering columns mirrored the spine, while sanctuaries at the heart of the temple represented the beating heart of creation. Passageways symbolized arteries, guiding energy through the structure like blood through veins. Entering a temple was not simply about worship. It was like walking inside a cosmic body, reminding the initiate that the microcosm of man reflected the macrocosm of the universe. Modern science is only beginning to rediscover this idea through concepts like bioarchitecture and resonance, showing how shapes and proportions affect the mind and nervous system. The Egyptians already knew. Your environment shapes your soul. To them, living in harmony meant building spaces that resonated with the laws of life. And the message for us today is powerful. Treat your home, your workspace, even your daily rituals as sacred architecture. Build your surroundings with intention, and they will build you in return. But hidden within this philosophy is a myth that carried even deeper wisdom. Among the deepest mysteries of Egypt lies the myth of Isis and Osiris. Osiris, the just king, was betrayed by his brother Set, who dismembered his body and scattered the pieces across the land. Isis, the devoted wife and goddess of magic, searched tirelessly, gathering the fragments, reassembling the body, and breathing life into him once more. To the Egyptians, this was not just a tale of gods, but a cosmic map of death and rebirth. Every human must face their own Set, the destructive forces of chaos and ego. And like Isis, we are called to gather the broken pieces of ourselves, to heal and to rise transformed. Psychologists like Carl Jung saw this as the journey of individuation, the death of the false self and the birth of the true self. Modern life mirrors this myth whenever failure, heartbreak, or loss shatters us. The message is timeless. Do not fear the breaking, for it is the necessary step before renewal. Just as Osiris was reborn, you too can be reborn each time you turn suffering into strength. But for the Egyptians, this myth was not only told in stories, it was encoded into their sacred temples as hidden lessons for initiates. Hidden within the grand temples of Egypt were the so-called mystery schools. These were not ordinary schools, but sanctuaries where only the chosen few could enter. To the public, temples appeared as places of worship, but to initiates, they were universities of the soul, teaching sacred sciences, astronomy, medicine, geometry, and above all, the path of inner transformation. Outer teachings were simple myths told to the masses. Inner teachings were secret practices meant to awaken higher states of consciousness. Candidates underwent trials of silence, darkness, fasting, and meditation. They were tested to see if they could master fear and illusion. Only then were deeper truths revealed. The priests acted as scientists of the invisible, experimenting with the human spirit the way modern labs experiment with matter. In many ways, these mystery schools were the ancestors of today's universities, but with one crucial difference: knowledge was not just to be memorized, it had to be embodied. Imagine if our modern schools also trained the soul, not only the intellect. That was the Egyptian vision. But among their most powerful hidden lessons was the use of sound itself. For the ancient Egyptians, sound was not just noise, it was creation itself. They believed the universe was spoken into existence. The hieroglyphs carved on temple walls were not mere symbols, but living vibrations, each carrying power. Priests used chants and sacred words to tune the human body like an instrument. Modern science confirms this. Sematics shows how sound frequencies can shape matter into geometric patterns. Imagine sand forming perfect mandalas just from vibration. To the Egyptians, words were spells. Every utterance shaped reality. That's why silence was as sacred as speech, because misuse of sound meant distortion of harmony. Today, neuroscience shows that self-talk rewires the brain. Say, "I am weak" long enough and the body follows. Say, "I am strong," and new neural pathways are created. Egypt's lesson is clear. Guard your words, for they are seeds of reality. Every mantra, every phrase is an act of creation, and this secret prepares us for their ultimate teaching. The gods were never outside, they lived within. The greatest revelation of ancient Egypt was this: the gods were not distant beings living in the sky, they were within. Ra, Osiris, Isis, these were not just deities to be worshipped, but archetypes of human consciousness. To awaken Horus is to awaken vision. To embody Maat is to live in truth. Carl Jung later called these archetypes universal forces shaping every human psyche. The temples, the rituals, the myths, all were mirrors to remind the initiate that divinity lives inside. And here is where modern psychology meets ancient wisdom. Every time you act with courage, you awaken a god within. Every time you forgive, you channel Isis. Every time you transform pain into wisdom, you resurrect Osiris. The Egyptians taught, man becomes God not by worshipping, but by remembering. Their final secret is not about pyramids or tombs. It is about you. The divine is not something to seek, it is something to realize. Look within, and you will find all the gods you ever searched for. Ancient Egypt was not only about pyramids and pharaohs, it was a spiritual map, carved in stone, to guide the human soul. The 7 secrets were never meant to stay locked in the past. They were tools for transformation. From the balance of Maat, to the mysteries of Osiris, to the realization that the gods dwell within, each secret points to one truth. You are more than flesh and bone. You are divine potential. Today, you don't need to walk through temples on the Nile to access this wisdom. Every decision, every breath, every thought is a temple. The ancients whispered that immortality is not about living forever, but about living fully, with purpose. And now, it's your turn. If this journey opened your eyes, don't let it end here. Subscribe, activate the bell, and join me for the next explorations. Because the secrets of Egypt are not finished, they are alive, waiting for those who dare to seek within. Do you believe your energy is truly in your control, or are unseen forces draining it without you even realizing?